Hi, my name is Walter Dolce and welcome to Hands-on Kubernetes Networking by Pact Publishing. I am a software and platform engineer with experience in both software development and systems design and administration. Over the years, I have designed, built and maintained several highly available and resilient systems and applications. I have done this for both small and medium-sized businesses as well as large enterprises such as the BBC and Just Eat. This video gives you an overview of the entire course and what will be accomplished by the end of it. The ultimate goal of the course is to give you a practical guide to Kubernetes networking. To achieve this goal, I will start by giving you a refresher on Kubernetes core components. I will then progressively go into more detail from the base architecture components, namely the master and worker nodes and their interactions, to the core Kubernetes objects, such as pods, services, and ingresses. Towards the end of the course, topics such as network security will be covered. That will give you practical advice on how to secure a Kubernetes cluster from a networking standpoint. This course is divided into 5 sections. Section 1 will be a refresher on Kubernetes core components and architecture in general. We will briefly go through the various parts that make up a Kubernetes cluster, such as for example the master, the worker nodes, the pods, etc. In Section 2, we will look into the heart and the brain parts of Kubernetes, namely the control plane. You will learn about etcd, the API server, the scheduler, etc., and the network aspects of each and every one of them. In Section 3, I will walk you through the network communication aspects of the Kubernetes master and worker nodes. We will look into the worker node-specific components such as the kubelet and the kube-proxy. In Section 4, we will explore in detail the networking aspects of the various Kubernetes objects. Elements such as pod-to-pod and container-to-container network communication will be covered. A detailed view of services and ingresses will also be provided. And then finally, the last section of the course will cover cluster network security. Topics such as network policies and how to harden the Kubernetes cluster from a networking standpoint will be explored. This course will mostly be a hands-on type of course mixed with slides containing diagrams and other various information. I will show you the networking capabilities of Kubernetes directly from the terminal. You should be able to follow the content of the course without the need of special tools installed on your system. But if you really want to follow the content of the course step by step, you can optionally download the tools you see on screen. I will mostly work on resources created locally on my machine. For that, I will mainly use tools such as Oracle VirtualBox, Vagrant, and Ansible. These 3 tools will help me create a local Kubernetes cluster. The goal of this course is to give you practical advice on how Kubernetes works from a networking perspective. If you are not yet familiar with Kubernetes architecture and core components, don't worry. An overview of those will be given in the first section of the course. You will learn how the Kubernetes core components such as the master, worker node, etc. communicate between one another. You will then learn how the Kubernetes core objects such as pods, services, etc. work from a networking standpoint. And finally, you will learn about Kubernetes cluster network security and how to implement it. So without further ado, let's dive in and get started.